Prime Minister, since we are on construction, getting procurement and getting all these contractors internationally, let's take, for example, what's going on with your baby in Cahill.
The hospital.
Yes.
Yes.
Many, many years, my colleague here, a contract was given to an Italian company. Where are we today? Just recently, I got information. When a former minister of VSR was there was a financial injection given to the company of 20 million. They used COVID and all sorts of things to get an additional 20 million. Right now, we are discussing another 20 million. And then I'm also hearing that the whole plan has changed. What can you tell us about the hospital and when exactly this project will finalize, and how much money more does St. Martin has to pump into this foreign company?
St. Martin is not pumping money in this company. St. Martin is pumping money in an extreme important institution for the community of St. Martin. We have to realize, God, that we are not pleasing Italians. No, we are pleasing the people of St. Martin by constructing a state-of-the-art hospital for our people of our country. That is very important to make that statement. As you know, at this particular moment, we are on schedule with the construction of the hospital. So the question is, where are we standing with this hospital? We are on schedule with the construction of the hospital. Secondly, there were some discussions seeing the pandemic that came in with the rise of construction material. We had to give an extra injection to proceed with the project. And your question is if we are and when are we planning to finalize this project. The intention is that by 2028 this hospital should be constructed and be there. If all departments will be immediately functional, that is, we will see, but in principle the focus is to finalize this project in 2028. And your question, how much money more we need to finalize that project? I'm not aware of, at this particular moment, of a deficit to finalize the hospital, but I can inform and see that I missed something in this discussion. But I'm aware, though, that we are on schedule and we're planning to finalize this hospital in 2028.
Prime Minister, tell us if, before I pass this to my colleague, if the plan for the hospital, because I'm hearing at first there was going to be two buildings that are attached to each other. Mm-hmm. Now I'm hearing it's going to be two separate buildings. Mm-hmm. There are several things that was removed from the contract, the parking lot, breaking down of the building. All of this now has been removed, but more money they're asking for more money. Like I said, pandemic, inflation, etc., etc. Mm-hmm. These are the things I'd like to get, the nitty-gritty of it.
The nitty-gritty I do not have for you at this particular moment, but I know that we are on schedule and we're planning to finalize this hospital in 2028. And whatever, Mrs. Shawn, the nitty-gritty will be, St. Martin must get this hospital at the end of the story. With or without nitty-gritty, as long as I'm here, I will make sure that we deliver and make sure that we can get a hospital, a state-of-the-art hospital for the people of St. Martin, especially knowing my background. It lies very close to my heart to dream already about the day that we will open this hospital for the people of St. Martin.
Are you SXM insured? Do you have a valid medical insurance status? SXM is cardless. Request your My SZV account today and enter the virtual office of SZV. Go to szv.sx and sign up now.
SZV, yeah, your social health insurances.
24/7 TV programming on www.stmartinmediacenter.com, SXM Daily News, PBS NewsHour, Now You Know, Com programs, documentary, entertainment, sports events, Saturday children's hours, religion programs, and movies. Click on SXM TV broadcast to see your favorite programs.
Across the Caribbean, another storm is coming. But there's no name for this one. No warning system. No shelter plan. It doesn't rip through roofs. It breaks down families. It stretches hospitals. And it leaves elders behind. The Caribbean is graying faster than we realize. By 2050, over 1 in 4 people in this region will be age 60 or older. In countries like Barbados and St. Lucia, that number will be even higher. But here's the thing. We aren't ready. Not our health systems. Not our pension plans. Not our communities. Not even our mindset. This isn't just about growing old. It's about what happens to all of us when we ignore the generation that came before. The silver shift has begun. Across the English-speaking Caribbean, from Antigua and Barbuda to Jamaica, from the Bahamas to Trinidad and Tobago, the numbers are staggering. In 2000, only 10% of the population was age 60 and over. By 2015, it was 14%. By 2050, that number could climb to 25%.
At the Aging with Dignity Conference 2025. We are gathered here with a shared purpose to celebrate the lives, the wisdom, and the immeasurable contribution of our senior citizens. Aging with Dignity is more than just a theme for this conference. It is a promise we make to every senior in our community. Over the next 2 days, we come together, government, NGOs, FBOs, and most importantly, our elderly citizens, to share ideas, identify challenges, and work towards a future that truly supports our seniors. A key highlight of this conference will be the presentation of findings from a baseline study conducted with the support of the Pan American Health Organization. This study looked closely at 4 areas that are vital to the well-being of our seniors. 1. How society views and treats older persons. 2. The level of community support available to them. 3. Access to quality health services. 4. Availability of long-term social care. The insight from this study will guide our discussions here at the conference and help us create an aging framework and roadmap for St. Martin, ensuring we build a sustainable future where our seniors are valued, supported, and empowered. Together, through these conversations and initiatives, we are laying the foundation for our society where our seniors can age with strength, dignity, and assurance that they remain an integral part of our community. The vision of this conference was first posed by our esteemed Secretary General, Ms. Joy Ornell. I want to take a moment to express my deep gratitude for her planting the seed of this idea. Ladies and gentlemen, please give her a round of applause. As Minister, I am humbled and truly happy to see her vision come into realization here today. In addition, I am also pleased to announce that on October 3rd, the Ministry will be hosting Senior Connect, a free event designed to bring our elderly together in fellowship, while also providing them with important information on healthcare, home care, recreational activities, and available support services. This is our way to ensure that our seniors are not only recognized, but actively engaged in the life of our society. To our seniors, you are the living libraries, our teachers, and our inspiration. On behalf of the Ministry of Public Health, Social Development and Labor, I say from the deepest part of my heart, thank you. Thank you for the road you have paved, the sacrifice you have made, and the love you continue to give. May this conference not only honor you, but also strengthen our commitment to ensure that you age with the dignity you so richly deserve. Thank you, and may God continue to bless each and every one of us, and may God continue to bless St. Martin.
SZV, your social and health insurance is SZV, your social and health insurance is.
Are you SZV insured? Do you have a valid medical insurance status? SZV is cardless. Request your My SZV account today and enter the virtual office of SZV. Go to szv.sx and sign up now.
SZV, yeah, your social and health insurance is.
24/7 TV programming on www.stmartinmediacenter.com, SXM Daily News, PBS NewsHour, Now You Know, com programs, documentary, entertainment, sports events, Saturday children's hours, religion programs, and movies. Click on SXM TV broadcast to see your favorite programs.
So we are here today to talk about Kwame Nkrumah and the unfinished African Revolution. Because, you know, my brother, so much things has happened and is happening on the continent as we speak. So many things is happening in the diaspora as we speak. Right now, there's a huge push for reparations for the African Holocaust. We see that in West Africa, there is a number of revolutionaries that has overthrown puppet governments supported by the West. We are also seeing a bit more African leaders becoming a bit more resolute in their demands to be treated equal, in their quest to become a bit more self-sufficient, and so forth. We knew that Kwame Nkrumah, amongst others, provided us with a blueprint and a framework that we can possibly dust off and use or continue using for our complete and total revolution, right? Based on where you're sitting right now, right, in the belly of the beast, as it were, how do you see, right? How would you describe the developments that we are seeing where it pertains to the unfinished revolution?
Really, the world that Kwame Nkrumah left us in is very much, in so many ways, the same world today. Many of the things that he fought for haven't massively changed. You are correct that in the African continent at the moment, there's many things the same neocolonists that Kwame Nkrumah warned us about, spoke about, and wrote about, are still hanging on with by their fingernails to Africa. And African leaders, military, their so-called coups, they are trying still to flush away these neo-colonialist powers. And really, and also the neo-colonialist powers are not just obviously the people who colonized us, but they're African cohorts, the African puppets of the West and elsewhere. So we are still trying today, and many African youth understand this, and many African elders in Africa understand that we are still fighting for what Kwame Nkrumah was talking about and what he was fighting for. So the world, in some levels, is the same world that Kwame Nkrumah left, even though there's been many changes and many battles that he didn't realize probably would happen. But he foresaw many things, because he actually said to us, one of his words were, and I'm paraphrasing, that if we do not unite as Africa and get rid of those colonial Berlin Conference borders, we'll be fighting each other over those borders. And you can see with Nigeria and the West kind of pushing them to go and fight with Niger, that is what Kwame Nkrumah was talking about. These borders were created in the Berlin Conference, 1884, 1885. And we, sadly, okay, if you are aware of, there was two main groups after we were seeking and getting independence from Africa. And they are the Monrovia group, and there is the Casablanca group. So there's two groups of African leaders. So Kwame Nkrumah was part of the Casablanca group. So the Casablanca group really wanted to unify Africa, wanted Africa to come together. And they would have unified, if they did listen to Kwame Nkrumah, they would have unified before the European Union, before the EEC, because they hadn't unified then that early. And if they had done that, we'd be in a much better position in Africa as we are today. But sadly, the Monrovian group, who were really more friends with the West, they won the day. And this is when the organization of the African Unity was kind of created. So when we see us fighting over these borders today, it's really because African leaders went for the Monrovian group view of the world. That it's okay, we can stay with the West and be friends with the West, and maybe the West will help us. When Kwame Nkrumah, Haile Selassie, and other leaders, Jomo Kenyatta, they said, no, we need to unite and we'll take care of the business ourselves. We don't need anybody to help us. We could be friends with other people, but it must be on our own terms. So when you see Africa today, they're still struggling in so many ways. Africa, as I'm sure we all know, is the richest continent on the world if you look for the resources that they have. Whether you're talking about the sun and the water and the rain, but whether you're talking about the resources in the ground, Africa has everything it needs. But what happened to us really during colonialism, and still happening today, it was a mental manipulation of us. So the mindset still kind of says that we need other people to help us. We don't know that we are Africans, we are the original people, and we can stand on our own two feet. And with our men and women and the children of Africa, we can build Africa to the strength and the height and the future that we want for ourselves. But sadly, a lot of what's happening today, many of our leaders, they still see the world through the eyes of Europe, still see the world through the eyes of Russia and Asia. You know, we don't see the world through the eyes of African people. So this is what really Afrocentricity is about. And Kwame Nkrumah actually used the term Afrocentricity, that we must see the world in relation to our own culture, our own history, our own values, and things like this. And then we would be able to move forward. And also, the culture is a key part here, because we notice, and Kwame Nkrumah mentioned this, and that when people, it's not just from Europeans, when people attack another people, generally they try to impose their culture onto the people. So the people begin to see the world through the eyes of their conquerors and and oppressors. And when you see the world through the eyes of your oppressor, chances are you're going to follow what your oppressor does and says, because you see that maybe their culture is the best culture, and that's the only way to view the world. So, but that's why one reason they fight down the culture, because if you've got your own culture and you've got your own God, you are likely to do things of your own choosing. You're likely to do things what's in what is good in value to you and not to other people. So these are some of the quandaries that the Monrovia group still wanted to lock in to the West and be the West and think about the West as our brothers or as friends. Yes, despite the racism and other things like that, the oppression that we get, we were still kind of locked into that kind of worldview. And this is one of the mistakes that we made. We understand that we are a free people, but we have been locked into this idea that, well, maybe we need other people to guide us and to show us what to do. And maybe we are free to be friends with these people who we believe are our friends when really they're not our friends. John Henrik Clarke famously says that we don't really have any friends. And also, when you're looking for friends from a weak position, chances are the people in a powerful position was always going to use that power over you for themselves. So this is where we are. We need to really see the world again through our own eyes. That's why we're here to speak about Kwame Nkrumah today. It's very important that we pick up, because obviously this title of this discussion this evening is the Unfinished Revolution. We need to pick up many of the reins of Kwame Nkrumah's revolution so we can move forward and do the things that Kwame Nkrumah said. So if I can say, I've got it, when Kwame Nkrumah's Ghana received independence in 1957, March the 6th, 1957. And I just want to say just a few words from what he said in his speech on that day when they got independence. So Kwame Nkrumah said, "At long last, the battle has ended, and thus Ghana, your beloved country, is free forever. And yet again, I want to take the opportunity to thank the people of this country, the youth, the farmers, the women who have so nobly fought and won the battle. Also, I want to thank the valiant ex-servicemen who have so cooperated with me in this mighty task of freeing our country from foreign rule and imperialism. And as I pointed out, from now on, today, we must change our attitudes and our minds." And this is what we're just talking about. He goes on, "We must realize that from now on, we are no longer a colonial, but free and an independent people." So that's the words of Kwame Nkrumah. You can see what he saw at that time, what he believed the future. Yeah, we are independent people now. We are free people. We are not colonials anymore. So we need to go and forge our own path, our own road into the future.